Welcome to Lesson 6 of mySci Unit 23, Our Place in the Universe. In Lesson 6, students will answer the question, what factors cause the phases of the moon? They will observe patterns in the phases of the moon over the course of the month and use models to explain what causes these patterns. Students will figure out that the rotation of Earth causes the moon to appear to move across the sky. The revolution of the moon around the Earth, as the Earth orbits the sun, causes the phases of the moon. In the engaged portion of this lesson, students will discuss things they have noticed in the night sky. Next, students will observe a night sky slide deck. Move through each slide and ask students what they notice. Students should recognize the moon is present in each slide. However, the amount of the moon that is illuminated in each slide changes. In the Explore portion of this lesson, students will discuss questions regarding the moon, including, when do we see the moon? Has anyone noticed what appears to happen to the light of the moon over time? How does the moon change throughout the evening? How does the moon change during a month? What causes the moon to look different to us? Following the discussion, students will watch a video about the moon phases. The video discusses the moon phases as a cycle that has been used by ancient cultures to track time. It also provides an initial explanation of what causes these phases. Next, students will develop models to construct further explanations about what causes the phases of the moon. Students will be placed in groups and provided with a skewer, a styrofoam ball, and a flashlight. Allow students to experiment with the materials to try to create the different phases of the moon. One student should hold the moon skewer. Their body represents an observer from Earth. A second student should hold the flashlight on the opposite side of the moon. The student holding the moon should notice from their perspective that the moon looks dark. This is known as a new moon. This student should then begin to revolve the moon just enough to see the crescent of light appear on the moon. This is the waxing crescent moon. The student should continue to revolve the moon, observing the first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent phases. Projected are examples of students participating in this modeling activity. In the Explain portion of this lesson, students will listen to a rap about the phases of the moon. Students will use the information in the music to continue to refine their model of the phases of the moon using the flashlight and skewer ball. Next, students will read the book Next Time You See the Moon. This is a read aloud book, and the read aloud guide can be found in the teacher pages. The Read Aloud Guide can be used to review the big ideas for the lesson, including that the moon orbits the Earth, the moon reflects the light of the sun, and the moon's orbit causes the moon phases we see. For additional information, students will watch a video and read an article about why the moon changes shape. Students should again be given an opportunity to return to their models and refine them, using the newly obtained information. In the Elaborate portion of this lesson, students will discuss what happens to the moon over the course of the evening. They will then observe a video of the moon's movement in the night sky. Students should observe the moon appearing to move across the night sky. They should compare this change in the moon's apparent position to the phases of the moon. The student should consider what causes each of these patterns to occur. They should recognize that the rotation of the Earth on its axis causes the moon to appear to move across the sky. The revolution of the moon around the Earth causes the phases of the moon. In the Evaluate portion of this lesson, students will complete a formative assessment. Students will use the Moon Phase Word Bank to create a pictorial model of the phases of the moon, beginning and ending with the new moon. Students will also construct a model and write an explanation for what causes the moon phases to occur. By the end of this lesson, students will have described the pattern of the moon over a month's time and explained why we observe phases of the moon.